This is the premiere episode of the Idaho Common-Taters. Yep. You don't get any more common than the two taters sitting at the table right here. And my name is Paul Thompson, and I'm running for House of Representatives in the state of Idaho in District 24. And my co-host here is Tony.
Hi, I'm Tony Ullrich, and I'm running for the Idaho House in District 23. We're both with the Constitution Party of Idaho.
And we're just a couple of commentators.
Yep. So we thought we'd like to sit down and talk to y'all and let you know a little about us and just give you our ideas on politics, life, liberty, God, country, you name it. We're going to discuss it.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good conversation to listen in on. And why don't we just start right there, Tony, and maybe introduce a little bit about yourself, about why you're at where you're at. Why do you want to run for office, and why are you a Constitution Party member?
Well, I was a Republican all through my early years, and I just was never happy with the way my representation was representing me. I'd see, the Republican Party platform and all these big ideas and goals and people talking about it, and then as soon as they were elected into office, it suddenly changed. I came originally from Oregon to Idaho. I moved here in 2005. I came over to work on a ranch. I was kind of a semi-retirement plan. My wife at the time was sick with kidney failure and didn't have long, and my job over there, I was a contractor. I just didn't have a lot of time, and I needed to be able to spend more time with her, so it just brought me to Idaho. I mean, it was kind of a blessing because, moving to a red state from a definite blue state was going to be a great change, but it doesn't really, when you look at it, isn't as red as it they lead you to believe. I mean,
the red is in name only.
The red is definitely a phase of purple or pink anyway.
It's a fading color.
It's a fading red, which is really sad because we do have a lot of strong conservative values in this state. The problem is our representation they don't represent it.
Yeah. So why the Constitution Party of Idaho, Tony? Why do you go there? What gravitates you to that party?
Well, so in 94, maybe 1995, when I left the Republican Party, I was kind of lost. And the Taxpayer Party at the time was building in Oregon. And being a contractor, politics was always kind of important. There's always some bureaucrat trying to bark down your throat. And, so knowing what's going on. So I always had a good grasp and was involved. And the party was building, so I got involved with it. I can't remember what year it was the Taxpayer Party went to pot, but it became the Constitution Party. It just rolled right into it. So when I came to Idaho, I just, went right along with it. So it's, the Constitution Party, if you look at the Republican platform and the Constitution Party platform, there's some variation in wording and some subtle differences, but they're pretty much a conservative, honest platform. I mean, they believe in smaller government, less control, less regulation. They believe in the Constitution. It's in practice, it's different though.
Yeah. I would say, for me, I've been an independent most all of my life. I've never landed on or in a formal position in a party, but all of my voting life has largely been Republican because that was going to fit my values.
Well, as a pastor, that definitely, would make sense.
Yeah.
When you contacted me back in, what was it, December, November?
Yeah, it probably was.
About running for office, my first thought was, I knew who you were. I'd met you before at functions and stuff, but I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And I was excited. I'm like, I'm going to convert this guy to CP and, get him to run on the CP ticket. I've been trying to build the County Central Committee for 3 years here, and it's a fight. People want change, but they don't want to do anything for it. Yeah. And then I actually brought that up to you, and you said, "Oh no, I am CP."
Right.
I was just like, "Wow!"
Easiest conversion you ever had there.
Well, I've never really tried to convert too many people. I mean, that's more your thing.
Right.
So it's conservatism is important. I said that wrong. Being conservative is important to me.
Yeah.
I'm more of a fiscal and small government conservative. Like I told you earlier, I believe in the Bible. I believe in God.
Right.
I don't attend many services, but that's mainly time. I've always enjoyed going to church. The camaraderie, the what's the word I'm looking for?
The family,
the congregation.
Right.
And I don't pick my Bible up very often, but I don't pick too many things up and read very often because really I'm a fairly busy guy. I work sun up to sundown. But
yeah, well, we're going to change that though. You're going to pick that Bible up more often.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try and pick it up more often just for you. So.
That's great.
But,
well, so the Republican, or from Republican from Oregon to Constitution Party Idaho. So you've been involved in the party. I've been a part of the party officially backing up to about 2014, 2015, just prior to the 2016 presidential election. And for me, it was the reading the platform. It was really, whenever I read that from an independent position that usually and largely voted Republican, and I read the Constitution Party platform, I said, well, I'm actually at home right there.
Yeah.
And at that time, a gentleman by the name of Darrell Castle was running for president, and I had been reading things that he had been putting out for a long time, and I thought, man, there's a lot of things here that I'm at home with.
Yeah.
And so your involvement, though, has been much more involved. You attend state convention meetings. Talk a little bit about your involvement at that point.
My official involvement, I've been registered CP, like I said, since the founding of the party. There was actually a snafu in Elmore County, and somehow I got put on the Republican list. We're not sure how that happened. And I think it's as simple as when I moved from out of Glens Ferry into Hammett, knowing everyone in the area, they knew I was conservative. What do you have? So I think my voter registration change card just got thrown in the wrong box. It was a technical error. It wasn't a big deal. But my official involvement came in, I would say, well, at least in Idaho, in early to mid 2017. It was just before the start of the actual 2018 runs.
Okay.
And, when my earlier involvement in the party, the party had no ballot access. It was basically a support party. What we did is we found candidates who adhered to our, standards and what our platform was. And we would support and back them. So I contacted our state chair in a rather nasty email. I was kind of nice for a change and didn't use profanity, but and asked, well, what set me off is we have a representative in this district. Most everyone in Idaho knows her, Christy Zito. I've been friends with her since I moved here. Her family is just so awesome, but. She's a true constitutional conservative. She's a representative of the people. She fights for the people, you know. Right.
And what she tells people is what she's going to then go and vote for.
Absolutely. She won't tell you one thing and then do another. And if she does, there's usually a good reason for it, and she'll tell you what that reason was.
Right.
Because sometimes the wording of a bill or something will change, and and it'll change a perspective. But generally, Christie's there to fight for you. Well, the establishment Republicans in the district don't much like people that are freedom-loving and liberty-minded. They want people that want to follow their power lines. And they ran a gentleman named Oscar Evans against her. And I was just livid that the party would do that. Mm-hmm. So I contacted the state party and I said, why aren't we supporting this conservative candidate?
Right.
And that's when I was informed we were actually ballot qualified, and I got a good lecture back, and I had it coming. I was a little out of line, but I was livid, and the state chair, Floyd Whitley, pretty much told me, well, put your money where your mouth is, step up, shut up, run, do something.
Gotcha.
So in the 2018 race, I ran for the same seat I'm running for now, and there were some issues. I decided to run a little bit late, so I didn't get in on the actual declaration. So I was going into the primary as a write-in, and which wasn't an issue. I had 50 Republicans that said they would register different and write, to get me on the ballot. And this district has 148, 149 registered voters, so I didn't think it would be a real big issue. Well, come to find out, our party doesn't often get a primary because we don't have contested seats because we're a small party.
Right.
So because of that, the Secretary of State's office determined that even though in the event of a no primary situation, all candidates move forward, in his infinite wisdom, I wasn't a candidate because I didn't write my original declaration. Even though the state law says all you need to be classified as a candidate is show intent and register with the state, with the treasurer, which I had done. So that was a fight, and it got to the point where I was really looking at a lawyer to deal with it, and I finally found one on Friday afternoon, and Sunday was my last possible date to file, so we just didn't have time to file the suit.
Yeah.
So I went in to 2018 as a write-in, and I thought, well, it'll be a good experience. I'll be able to make a lot of noise for the party, help build the county central committee, and it just went from there. I decided that I'm gonna run, I'm gonna make noise. If I can win, that's all that much better. But I honestly never had any desire to be a politician.
Right.
I don't like politicians. I mean,
you feel kind of dirty just saying you're a politician.
Yes. So one of my biggest supporters down in Grandview, bless his soul, says, "Don't call yourself a politician. Call yourself a statesman."
Statesman.
And I go,
right. That's good.
Yeah, it's semantics, man.
You don't feel as dirty when you say you're a statesman.
Yeah, you don't feel quite as dirty, but I still go home and take a shower. So.
Right. So Tony, why run for public office?
Well, we all agree that there needs to be some changes. The two-party system doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, it works for the two parties. It doesn't work for the people. We need people that actually represent the people. Like in your district, you've got 3 Republicans, 2 representatives, and a senator that are about as far from the platform, the Republican Party platform, as I think you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, they will vote for bigger government, more control.
Right.
You were talking our platform. The first line in the Constitution, or the first agenda on our platform, is pro-life.
Sanctity of life.
Sanctity of life. I have a little bit different view on abortion than most pro-lifers. I was informed I was pro-life. I never believed I was pro-life, nor, pro-abortion, just because I personally don't feel government should regulate it. That's my biggest issue with it.
Yeah.
Government's got a few small chores, and they're so far beyond that right now, and we need to change that. We need to get back to a constitutional-based government.
Right.
The federal government's limited in its responsibility by the U.S. Constitution. The state government's limited in its, authority and responsibility by the state Constitution, and they're both so far out of that right now. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. So you basically want to get involved and do your part in hemming the government back in, saying here's as far as you go and no further.
Absolutely.
Here's your limits, and let's stay within our limits.
One of my biggest pet peeves with government right now is administrative rules and administrative code. Yeah. They affect absolutely every part of our life, and most people don't even realize it. I mean, there's an administrative rule or an administrative code that covers almost every industry or every part of your house. It's just utterly ridiculous. Administrative code and the APA was originally designed as a guideline for government on how it should operate and how it should interpret actual statute.
Yeah.
And it's gone so far beyond that. They figured out in the 70s that they could actually bypass legislature and make laws because the legislature's so busy, they don't actually have time to read it. They have committees that are supposed to read all these new rules, but they skim them.
You know what, Tony? We need to talk about that sometime because really the administrative rules, the administrative code that is there, you're right. The bulk of the people don't even know what they are.
No.
And they don't know where they originate from. And they don't originate from the legislature.
Yeah. So, well, and I have a huge list of things that, I hope we can discuss over time on this. And that's really one of the biggest ones, I want to discuss education, which we're going to do another clip right after this one and do some stuff on education. I mean, there's just so many important things that our government has really not taught our people.
Right.
And it's sad. I think I'm a 1966 model. I'll be 54 years old this year. I honestly think I was the last year my school district taught civics. I remember a civics class, I think it was my freshman year. It wasn't mandated by that time because when Carter came in and, introduced the Board of Education, civics went away. Yeah. It was no longer on the curriculum. I think my younger brother, 4 years younger than me, had a local government class, but then it just went to what was that called? Social studies.
Social studies. Yeah.
So I mean, we really need to get back teaching people what the Constitution, what our government's actual proper role is, which is another topic I want to cover.
Right.
Is the proper role of
We want to do that for sure.
Yes.
We have. I just discovered we even have one more thing in common. Not more than just being a couple of commentators. I too was born in 1966, so that 1966 model. Yeah. It's a great little model, isn't it?
Well, I had a 66 GTO and I loved it.
Oh, nice. So listen, we definitely want to spend these podcasts over the next several weeks and months together thinking about these critical things and important things. I want to help the listener be more informed, well informed about the topics and the issues. And so it would be our encouragement to the listener with these podcasts that we'll be doing. Make sure to contact us. We'll put some email contact information for you on how to get a hold of Tony. Matter of fact, Tony, how can people get a hold of you right now?
The easiest way to get a hold of me is probably through email. And the email account I use right now is just ullrichforidaho @gmail. And that's ULLRICH 4FOR and then the state of Idaho, all one word, no caps. And, it goes right to my phone. I usually get them within a matter of minutes. And
they can find you on Facebook probably.
I can be found on Facebook. I have a campaign page, my personal page. My wall's wide open. Everyone can come look, see what I have to say.
Great. And if they can't find you on social media or through an email, they can find you out in a field somewhere, pulling a weed somewhere.
You'll find me in a field working on a tractor, pulling some weeds, or you can come down to I actually live in Hammett, but my semi-retired job is farming and ranch mechanicking. I do a lot of mechanical work for a lot of the smaller farms in the area. Harvest time, you can always find me in the onion shed here in Glens Ferry. I run that for the proprietor. Paul, you're pretty easy to find.
I'm in Twin Falls, so find me. You can email me as well. Visit my website, votepaulthompson.com. We have presence on social media as well. But we'll put those links attached to this podcast. There's a couple of ways that people can get together with us as well over the next couple of months. And one particular an event happening in Twin Falls called Freedom is the Cure. That's August the 1st. Well, actually, before that, though, we have the Elmore County Fair.
We're trying to get a table for that. So we'll be here in Glens Ferry.
And that's July the 13th through the 18th.
Yeah, that's what you have written down.
Yeah, I think I don't have my glasses. My 1966 Model I's need I didn't bring my glasses, but July 13th through the 18th, and then August 1st in Twin Falls.
That's at the city park, right?
It won't be downtown at the city park. It'll be out at the Sunway, the soccer complex, water park.
I'll have to get directions. For that.
We'll make. I'll draw you a map. But Freedom is the Cure event, all-day event there in Twin Falls. Legislators from across the state, as well as
Good
liberty-loving, Constitution-minded.
A lot of patriots and Constitutionists will be there speaking, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty big event. And
so be sure to put that on your radar. And then we'll both be from time to time. Of course, Tony doesn't live in Twin Falls County, but the Twin Falls County Fair will be an opportunity for some of you to even meet Tony then on some of those days, September 2nd through the 7th as well, there in Filer.
Twin Falls is kind of a screwy bunch of districts, I should say.
It is, yeah.
So it actually covers part of my district. So
your district runs from the Oregon border all the way up to
Old Twin Falls County. Yeah. I mean, so I'm in part of my district's, part of it's Buell, part of it's Castleford. I go all the way north to Atlanta, and I go all the way to Homedale.
Oh, my goodness. So
it's a huge district.
It would take more than a day's journey on a horse to go from the east to the west.
Oh, yeah. And then some, yeah. So, we did an event in Mountain Home in 2018, and then I had to be over to Castleford, and I was just wiped by the end of the day. I was just glad I didn't have to do an Atlanta run, too.
Great. Hey, so you've been listening to a couple of constitutional-minded
commentators,
Idaho commentators here today. And so thanks for dropping by and listening. Be sure to drop us a line. Ask us some questions. We'll want to follow up with anything that comes to your mind. So, hey, thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Paul. And we'll be doing more of these.
We'll catch you next time.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Thanks.